Hello and welcome back to Azure Terraformer. Today's a continuation of my last mailbag where I responded to Krishna's question about multi-stage pipelines. I just set up my Twitch feed yesterday just for fun because I found out that there is a way I can do live streaming without YouTube, and that's through Twitch. It feels a little weird because it is a site for primarily video gamers, but the other night I watched some girl play saxophone on there. So I guess it's maybe a little less weird that there's a guy doing Azure DevOps and Terraform on the site. But anyways, I refactored all my pipelines using the multi-stage approach because I love it so much. So thanks again, Krishna, for that nugget of inspiration. And while I was doing it, I said, maybe this is a good opportunity to implement the TF plan. And this is not something that I've talked about, but it's something that's always been there. Terraform has this process where you can output a plan file, and then when you run Terraform Apply, instead of using the input variables and instead of using the plan that gets executed right before you run Apply, you can pass in that out file, and then basically if anything has changed since that last plan, the apply will fail. And this is by design because the idea is, like with my multi-stage pipeline that I built, you're going to have an approver that's going to come in and look at the plan. The time that they look at the plan and the time that the plan was executed, there's a small period of window where something could have changed within the environment, be it drift or whatever. And so if we are approving that plan, then we need to have an artifact that represents that plan, and we need to ensure that the apply is only going to implement that plan, not some new plan based on new information at the time. And if something has changed, then we shouldn't just run with it. We should stop and wait for a new plan to be applied and give a reviewer a chance to look at that plan to see if that's really what they want to do. So this handles drift essentially. Now the risk is very low as the time window gets smaller, and so when I'm working with environments that either I personally manage, individually, or, there's very, very little risk of change because we've locked down the Azure subscription so that there's no other writers within there. Somebody can't just go in the portal and monkey around. The risk is extremely low, right? Because the only person that's going to be changing that environment is either Azure policy or your Terraform pipeline itself. So, the risk's very low. But it is, I think, an important thing to call out. And now that we have the multi-stage pipeline, it's going to be very easy for us to output that TF plan and reference it from the apply. And that's what I'm going to do today. Should be a quick little episode, so let's get started. So now the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to modify my multi-stage pipeline. I need to go up to where I run plan, and I have it collapsed, so it's been confusing me. I'm not going to actually change validate, but in the plan command here, I'm a poet and I didn't even know it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add an additional argument that's just called out, and this is where we can specify the file name of the Terraform plan file. And I'm just going to give it a name of using the application name and a concatenation of the environment name. And again, these are pipeline variables in Azure DevOps that are going to get interpolated and passed in as an argument to the plan. And because my script takes three arguments, $1, $2, $3, we've got $1, we got $2, and we have $3. So we're going to be A-OK. And yeah, so that's going to generate the file. Now, the next thing that I need to do is I need to publish this artifact. So let me get down to the task level. I'm going to add a new task, and it's going to be called Publish Pipeline Artifact. Version 1. And then the inputs are, we have a target path, and then we have an artifact name. Now the target path is just going to be the system default working directory, and then this is basically our source path. Now I pass in a pipeline parameter called the working directory, which is going to take me to my Terraform directory, which is the working directory that this command executes. And so the TF plan is just going to get popped out in that working directory. So now I just need to add the file name to the end of that, and we're going to drop that into an artifact by the name of TF plan. Okay, so the plan part of it is done. I'm outputting the plan. Now I need to go use that in my apply pipeline. So what I'm going to do is in my apply pipeline, I need to download the artifact. So I guess probably after the checkout, I think that would make sense. Yeah. After the checkout, I'm going to execute a task, and it's going to be, instead of publish pipeline artifact, I'm going to do download pipeline artifact. And you might be saying, well, why do we have to go download the pipeline artifact? Didn't we just do it in the same YAML file a few seconds ago? And the answer to that is, this is a separate job and altogether a separate stage. So the files that we created in that previous stage and job are not in the same location as they are now. In fact, this command on line 62, I'm actually getting the source code, because the source code wasn't even there when I executed this. So you have to really treat each job as, like you're starting fresh. It's a brand new baby, and that's kind of an important aspect of creating a pipeline and creating contracts between the jobs. It's kind of like creating contracts between a web API and a client, right? It's like, well, what do you expect? What am I going to give? And you build against that, and you try and make that contract as well defined as possible. So we're gonna drop this artifact into the sources directory, and under the working directory path. So we checked out our source. So our sources directory has all the source code in it. The working directory is going to be the Terraform folder. And so we're going to grab all the TF plan files from the TF plan artifact. There's only one. And we're going to dump it into the Terraform working directory. And then when we get down to apply, we're going to be able to use that. And so the way that this works is, instead of passing in my var file, because when apply runs with a plan, all of the variables were already inputted on the plan itself. Like there's no need to pass in a var file anymore, because they're sitting there, the values are sitting there in that TF plan file. So really all we have to do is give it the path to the TF plan file, which .tf plan, and we should be good to go. So there we go. Let's commit this and let's run this. Add TF plan. I must have had a typo. input should be inputs. I mean, that should be pretty obvious. So as you can see here, I'm generating this output file, and it's even giving me instructions on how I should pass that into my apply command, which is very nice of it. And now I need to go and approve the plan here. So what is the plan even going to do? So it looks like we're changing the log analytics destination type, future episode. And I need to review this and approve it. Yeah, sure. Go ahead. Get it. Now reading this, okay, I guess chunks downloaded 1 is a good sign. We're not even close to a megabyte, because I mean these TF plan files are so small. But we could also go look and see on our pipeline instance, the instance of our pipeline, not up here in dev, but down here in the dev number 4, the number that I executed. I've got my TF plan, and there it is. 29 kilobytes of pure goodness. I'm not quite sure why that doesn't register on the download pipeline, because you would think it would show up as 0.29 megabytes, but whatever. Anyways, let's look at this, and is there any indication that we're using a plan file here? Other than the fact that it doesn't generate its own plan, I don't see where that's happening. I mean, we do see the command kind of echoed up here. So I guess that's a pretty conclusive indication that that's what we're doing. Yeah, so we ran the plan, and we changed one thing, and we're good to go. So there you go. We now have an immutable pipeline with Terraform Plan and Terraform Apply that has an approval check all in one pipeline, so that if anything has happened since the plan was generated, and maybe the reviewer was at Disney World, like I'm going to be at tomorrow, and they didn't have a chance to check on their Terraform plan, the pull request that was submitted, and something happened in the environment since the last time that plan was generated. Even if they approve it, when Terraform runs that apply and uses that plan, it's going to bomb out and let them know, hey, you know that plan you approved? Yeah, well, it's not applicable anymore because something has changed. You need to go pay attention to this, and you need to go rerun the rerun the plan pipeline and see what the new plan is going to be. So yeah, so this is widely considered a best practice in Terraform land. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. It's very easy to use now that we have our multi-stage. And yeah, if you enjoy this content, please smash the like button. And if you have not subscribed to my channel yet, please do. And when you do, smash that bell so that you know when my next video drops. Yeah, maybe next time on Twitch, I post. I usually post, try and let people know. I think in the future I'll try and let people know with a little bit more advance warning when I'm going to be on Twitch. And if you have ideas for what I should work on my next Twitch live stream, let me know. Other than that, I'm probably just gonna do whatever I feel like. And if somebody shows up, we'll talk and pivot from there. But anyways, hope you're enjoying this content. That's it for me today. I depart for sunny Orlando, Florida tomorrow. And I'm going to be wearing my Mickey Mouse hat and going all over Disney World on spring break weekend. So it's going to be amazing. But hopefully I'll have a little bit of time to chill out at the beach in Palm Beach the next week. And I don't know, who knows? Maybe I'll post a little bit from the beach. We'll see. I do intend on catching up on reading, a little bit of reading, and whatnot, but we'll see how it goes. Anyways, this is Azure Terraformer signing off.